Hi, this is actually my second attempt at making this initial video using my new GoPro Hero 4 Black. The first video I discovered what they regard as a feature in the GoPro, which I regard as a bit of a pain in the ass if you've got the wrong setting. It's called looping, and I'll explain it a little later. But before that, I'll just give you a little bit of background about the saga of just getting this particular camera working. Nothing to do with the camera itself, but it's to do with the fact that the camera doesn't come with a memory card. So without that, basically you can do nothing. You can charge a battery. That's all the fun you can have with it. So it's pretty ordinary. Now, I totally stuffed up the process of buying the memory card. I went for a 64 gigabyte card. I looked at the specs. I realised that I had to get a fast card with a fast transfer rate of data, and one that that had a certain specifications that the standard cards just aren't fast enough. And so I did all my homework. And I looked it up on eBay, and I went through all the cards that were listed suitable for the GoPro Black Hero 4. And for some reason, being the cheap bastard I am, I diverted from that particular list and looked up the cards separately, and I found one that was a little bit cheaper. And it appeared to fill all the specs. It was a Pro, and it had the 4K rating, the whole bit. It looked fine. Trouble was, I forgot about the basics. When it arrived in the mail, I discovered that it wasn't a micro card, and it was just a standard size, and it wouldn't fit into the camera. I knew that straight away as soon as I took it out of the package. It was not right. So I was less than impressed, and it was my own fault. I had no one else to blame but myself. That was a total own goal as far as making that mistake is concerned. So that was something you need to be careful with these particular cameras. You need to make sure you get exactly the right data cards, otherwise you're going to have a bit of grief, especially if you're ordering on eBay, because you've got a delay with the mail. So I had to return the card to the vendor. He was fine. He was actually very understanding about it. And he actually said he could provide me with a micro card with the same specs. And he sent it out. Trouble was, they weren't the same specs. The card he'd sent out had a transfer rate of 50 megabytes per second. And what you need with these GoPro Hero 4s, you need around 90 or 95 megabytes per second transfer rate for them to work properly. So again, I had to return it to him. So I'd stuffed it up the first time, and he'd stuffed it up the second time, and he's agreed to give me a refund, and he's been very nice about it, so that's all fine. But as soon as I found out I had when I put that particular card in, the replacement micro card in, of course I came up with an error message after trying to shoot about 20 seconds of footage. So I thought it might at least work on an HD setting rather than 4K, but nothing. I couldn't get it to work at all. It has to have those specs for any videoing at all, so I couldn't use it. I had to return it. So I decided to look up eBay, and I put an order in for another card that I knew had the right specs, and this one I could pick up from my local supermarket in the city, so it's only a few blocks away, and it's delivered to a locker, and they give you the combination to the locker on eBay, and it saves the hassle of going through the mail and all the security hassles you might have with that being stolen or whatever. It's a more secure way of doing it, and considering that I'm living in the Melbourne CBD, it's easy for me to get to this particular store. And so I did that, and yeah, I got it. I picked it up on Tuesday, and so I was up and running, and that's great. It's finally getting the thing working. I thought, well, okay, I'm home and host. So yesterday I decided to just do a test run and just outline the saga I'd had with getting this particular camera up and running. It felt like I was cursed at one stage. It's getting very frustrating. But wouldn't you know it, when I did a recording yesterday, just a blurb like this, I I downloaded the recordings, and they all came through in 215 megabyte lots. It wasn't one big file, which I was used to getting with my Canon. The Canon camera just will put everything into one file, so you can have them in excess of a gigabyte for a particular footage, like over 5 to 10 minutes of footage. But with GoPro, I've discovered that they've got a system which is called chaptering, and they break up the video into smaller segments automatically, so that can't be avoided. Now that's not necessarily such a bad thing, although 215 megabytes is a bit small. I don't want that many segments. However, the problem was that I was missing the introductory part of my video. I don't know what happened to it. I could not find it where I actually started speaking about what had happened to me. And this is a total mystery to me. So then I did a little bit of investigation, and I discovered this wonderful little feature that GoPro lauds, and that is looping. And the idea of looping is that you can set your GoPro so that after a certain amount of shooting, say in the case that the shortest looping is 5 minutes, and it goes 5 minutes, 20 minutes, 60 minutes, 120 minutes, and then unlimited after that. Mine was set at 5 minutes. So what that meant was that after I'd shot 5 minutes of material with this rave about the saga I'd gone through with getting this camera up and running, it overwrote the beginning of that video. So it loops. It goes back to the beginning of that petite piece of video footage, and it wipes it out. The idea being that, say you're looking for something spectacular, some sporting thing to happen, and you don't want to use up a lot of your memory on your card, it will just keep continually looping until you get what you want. And then once you've got that footage that you want, if it's a short segment of only a few minutes, then the 5 minute segment works well, then you can basically just stop shooting, and you've got what you wanted, and you're not going through all the memory of your card. I can see that it has a usefulness, but I don't know why it's set up automatically. I would have thought it should be a function that you have to initiate. But unfortunately for me, and I did fiddle around with the camera, and that's another little issue I've got with this particular camera. I'm quite blind. I've got really bad eyesight. And I've got to say, the menu on this is very small. Even with a magnifying glass, I was having difficulty looking at it. So I was going through the menus not knowing what I was actually doing. I couldn't see the text, and that was a bit of a hassle. What I was actually trying to set up was the Wi-Fi capability for my smartphone, which is great because once you've got Wi-Fi happening here, you can see the image that you're shooting, and so you can do your framing and what have you. And you can also, you have a tools menu where you can do all your setups for the frame rates, for what the quality of the images is going to be, whether it's 4K or 2700 or 1080. The quality of your particular video, for instance. You can vary a number of factors on your smartphone, and it's so much easier to see. So I desperately wanted to get that happening, but that took me a bit of trial and error, a combination of what they'd written GoPro online and a YouTube how-to video, and the combination of the two, I worked it out. So thank God that we've got those resources, because I would have been bashing my head against a brick wall. Once I got that up and running, I found that I had this thing on a looping option of 5, and I changed it immediately to the unlimited one, and then I shot some footage, just for 10 minutes of me watching TV. Basically, I just wanted to test, see how big the footage, how big segments of footage would be shot, and it worked. It shot almost it shot a gigabyte in the first section and almost a gigabyte in the second, so it expanded how much it would actually shoot. And at the moment I've got it set at 120 minutes, so hopefully it'll again be large segments and there won't be any problems transferring it across, and I won't lose any of the footage that I shot. Because if you've got a 120-minute loop, I mean, you have to be shooting a hell of a lot of footage to ride over that particular video that you've shot. So it was a great relief to me, because I thought maybe there was an error with the camera or there's an error with the card. and I'd never encountered this particular type of software before. This looping thing was basically sending me loopy. I had no idea this existed, and if you're not aware of it and you do happen to click the wrong option, I'm sure it's caused a bit of suffering in the past. So, you know, just something to be aware of. It's a bit of a warning, a cautionary tale, if you like. And of course, it goes without saying that if you're looking for a memory card, make sure you get one that's actually the right size to fit in. I'm a total idiot for getting the large one, and you know, I just didn't do my due diligence. And you've got to be spot on with it, especially if you're buying it through eBay. If you're getting it from a shop, you just swap it, or you get the guy behind the counter to fit it in for you. It's a pity that the GoPro don't provide a micro data card as part of the deal, even a small one, because at least then you could play around with it. But you know, everything's about cutting costs these days, and I've got to say that the eBay deals were so much cheaper than what I saw retail outlets in Melbourne charging for the same cards. I'd be paying almost double. So it definitely saved me money, but it was a hassle as it turned out, but mainly due to my own mismanagement. As far as technically is concerned, the GoPro, I'm absolutely wrapped in what I've seen so far. The picture quality is incredible. It has incredible sensitivity to low light. The colours are better. Everything about it is better. So very impressed so far, and I don't think you'll be seeing any more video footage shot with my old Canon. I think that'll be basically used as a still camera from now on, or a backup camera in case there's some technical glitch with my GoPro. But you know, I love what I saw with the GoPro videos on YouTube, and this particular GoPro I've got here has done nothing to dispel my first impression that it's an excellent camera for YouTubers, and it's no wonder that they've done so well in the marketplace. So just a pity about things like the looping and the card. You can have little. You just got to get all the things right. But once it's up and running, it's not too bad. And especially if you're using your smartphone to monitor the image on screen, and also to go through your tools menu, it's great. So yeah, it's worked out really well. Just one day of hassles, but I've got over that now, and fingers crossed it'll be smooth sailing from now on, and you'll be seeing plenty of footage of me wandering the streets of Cairns. So I hope this has been of some use to you, because we all make mistakes, and I made a few doozies with setting up this particular camera. But if it steers you in the right direction, well, that's great. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you get something out of it. And look out for my next video, and please subscribe or give me a thumbs up if you like this particular video. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you.